Hold on. If you're 60 or older, stop scrolling right now, because what the Social Security Administration just announced in the last 10 minutes could directly impact your monthly check, your benefits, and your retirement security starting immediately. We're not talking about rumors. We're not talking about speculation. The SSA just dropped 5 major changes, and most seniors have absolutely no idea they're coming. Change number 3 alone could mean hundreds of extra dollars in your pocket every single month. But here's the catch. If you don't know about it, you could miss out entirely. And once that window closes, it's gone. I've been tracking Social Security policy for years, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen changes this significant in a long time. Some of these updates are going to help you. Others you need to prepare for right now before they catch you completely off guard. Whether you're already collecting benefits, approaching retirement, or helping a loved one navigate the system, this video is going to change everything you thought you knew about your Social Security future. Every second you wait is a second you could be leaving money on the table, so stay with me because we're breaking down all 5 changes, one by one, in plain English. No confusing government jargon, no fine print, just the facts you need to protect your financial future and make sure you're getting every single dollar you're entitled to. If this sounds like something every senior in America deserves to know, hit that like button right now and let's get into it. So let's get right into it, because these changes are already in motion and the clock is ticking for millions of Americans who depend on Social Security every single month. The first change the SSA has announced is a significant adjustment to the cost of living adjustment, what most people know as the COLA. Now, you've probably heard about COLA before. It's the annual increase applied to your Social Security benefits to help keep up with inflation. But what's different this time is the way the SSA is calculating it. For years, the calculation has been based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, known as CPIW. But there has been growing pressure, and now real movement, towards shifting that calculation to the CPIE, which stands for the Consumer Price Index for the elderly. Why does that matter? Because the CPIE tracks the actual spending habits of people over 62. It gives more weight to healthcare costs, prescription medications, and housing, the exact things seniors spend the most money on. If this shift is fully implemented, experts estimate that millions of retirees could see a measurably higher annual increase in their benefits every single year going forward. That might not sound dramatic on paper, but compounded over 5, 10, or 15 years of retirement, we're talking about a very real and very significant difference in your financial security. This is the kind of change that quietly adds up to thousands of dollars over time, and most people have no idea it's even on the table. The second change involves full retirement age, and this one is particularly important for anyone who hasn't yet started claiming their benefits. The Social Security Administration has been gradually increasing the full retirement age for years, moving it from 65 up to 67 for those born in 1960 or later. But what's being discussed now goes even further. There are serious proposals, backed by new SSA guidance, that could push the full retirement age towards 68 or even 69 for younger seniors currently in their early 60s. Now, here's why this matters so much. If you claim Social Security before your full retirement age, your monthly benefit is permanently reduced. We're not talking about a temporary cut. This is a reduction that stays with you for the rest of your life. On the other hand, if you delay claiming past your full retirement age, your benefit increases by about 8% for every year you wait, up until age 70. So, understanding exactly where the full retirement age lands for your birth year is absolutely critical to making the right decision about when to claim. Getting this wrong could cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the course of your retirement. The SSA's new guidance is urging Americans to re-examine their claiming strategy in light of these potential changes. And if you haven't sat down and looked at your numbers recently, now is the time. The third change, and this is the one I mentioned at the top that could put hundreds of extra dollars back in your pocket, has to do with the earnings test and how it applies to seniors who are still working. Right now, if you claim Social Security before your full retirement age and you're still earning income from a job, the SSA can actually withhold a portion of your benefits if your earnings exceed a certain threshold. For 2024, that threshold was around $22,320 per year. Once you go over that, the SSA withholds $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn above the limit. It's a rule that has frustrated working seniors for decades because it essentially penalizes people for continuing to contribute to the workforce. But the new announcement signals a meaningful increase to that earnings threshold, potentially raising it high enough that the vast majority of part-time working seniors would no longer be affected at all. This means you could continue working, continue earning, and continue collecting your full Social Security benefit without being penalized for staying active and productive. For seniors who rely on part-time work to supplement their retirement income, this change is a genuine game changer. It removes a barrier that has long discouraged people from working and gives you real financial flexibility during your retirement years. Now, let's talk about the fourth change, which centers on spousal and survivor benefits, an area that is critically important and deeply misunderstood by millions of Americans. Spousal benefits allow a husband or wife to claim up to 50% of their partner's Social Security benefit, even if they have little or no work history of their own. Survivor benefits, on the other hand, allow a widow or widower to claim up to 100% of their deceased spouse's benefit. These are incredibly powerful tools that can dramatically increase household income in retirement, but the rules around them are complicated, and the SSA has historically done a poor job of communicating them clearly. The new changes being announced include updated guidance that makes it easier for eligible spouses and survivors to understand and access these benefits. There are also reforms being proposed to address what's known as the government pension offset and the windfall elimination provision, two rules that have long reduced or eliminated Social Security benefits for certain public employees, including teachers, firefighters, and police officers. These provisions have been controversial for years because they effectively punish people who spent careers in public service. The new SSA announcements include updated language and proposed legislative changes that could restore full or partial benefits to hundreds of thousands of people who were previously penalized under these rules. If you or your spouse worked in a public sector job at any point in your career, you absolutely need to look into how these changes might affect your household. The fifth change is perhaps the most forward-looking of all, and it has to do with how the Social Security Administration is modernizing the way it communicates with and serves seniors. For years, getting information from the SSA has meant long hold times on the phone, confusing paperwork, and in-person visits to local offices that are often understaffed and overwhelmed. The new announcements include a significant investment in digital services, including an upgraded My Social Security online portal that makes it dramatically easier to check your benefit estimates, update your personal information, apply for benefits, and track the status of any claims or appeals. But more importantly, the SSA is expanding its outreach efforts to make sure that seniors who are eligible for benefits, especially those in lower-income households, actually know what they're entitled to and how to access it. Studies have shown that billions of dollars in Social Security benefits go unclaimed every year simply because people don't know they qualify or don't understand the process for applying. The new outreach initiative aims to change that by proactively contacting eligible individuals, partnering with community organizations, and providing clearer, more accessible information in multiple languages. For many seniors, this could mean discovering benefits they didn't even know existed, whether that's spousal benefits, disability supplements, or programs that help cover Medicare premiums. Now, let me take a moment to talk about something that connects all 5 of these changes. And that's the importance of being proactive about your Social Security future. The biggest mistake most people make is assuming that Social Security will just take care of itself. They figure they'll sign up when the time comes, collect whatever they're owed, and move on. But the reality is that Social Security is one of the most complex financial systems in the country, and the decisions you make about when to claim, whether to keep working, how to coordinate benefits with your spouse, can have a massive impact on how much money you receive over your lifetime. We're talking about decisions worth tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And once you make certain choices, like claiming benefits early, you generally cannot undo them. So having a clear, informed strategy isn't just smart, it's essential. One of the most powerful things you can do right now is log into the My Social Security portal at SSA.gov and look at your personal earnings record and benefit estimate. Your benefit is calculated based on your 35 highest earning years of work. If there are any errors in your earnings record, and errors do happen more often than you'd think, correcting them could increase your monthly benefit. You should also take a close look at what your benefit would be at different claiming ages, 62, 67, and 70, and think carefully about which option makes the most sense for your health, your finances, and your long-term goals. If you're married, the coordination between your benefit and your spouse's benefit is another critical piece of the puzzle. In many cases, the higher earning spouse should delay claiming as long as possible to maximize the survivor benefit for the lower earning spouse. These are strategies that financial planners charge hundreds of dollars to explain, and they can make an enormous difference in your retirement income. It's also worth understanding how Social Security fits into your broader retirement picture. If you have a pension, a 401k, an IRA, or other savings, the timing of your Social Security claim should be coordinated with those other income sources. Some people find it makes sense to draw down retirement savings early and delay Social Security as long as possible because the guaranteed 8% annual increase from delayed claiming is hard to beat. Others, particularly those with health concerns or limited savings, may find that claiming earlier makes more practical sense. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but there is always a best answer for your specific situation, and finding it requires having all the information. That's exactly why announcements like this one from the SSA matter so much, because every time the rules change, whether it's the COLA calculation, the earnings test, the full retirement age, or survivor benefit rules, it shifts the math. What was the optimal strategy last year might not be the optimal strategy today. Staying informed isn't just interesting, it's financially critical. And that brings us back to where we started. These 5 changes from the Social Security Administration are not minor tweaks. They represent a meaningful shift in how the system works, who benefits from it, and how much money is on the table for the millions of Americans who depend on it. Whether the change that matters most to you is the COLA adjustment, the earnings threshold, the spousal benefit reforms, or simply having a better way to access your information online, the bottom line is the same. You need to know about this. You need to understand it, and you need to act on it. The seniors who will benefit the most from these changes are not the ones who sit back and wait. They're the ones who stay informed, ask the right questions, review their accounts, talk to their financial advisors, and make deliberate decisions based on current, accurate information. That's who this channel is for. That's why we cover these topics with the level of detail and urgency that we do, because your retirement security is not something to leave to chance. So if you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most people. You're paying attention, you're taking this seriously, and that puts you in a far better position to protect and maximize the benefits you've spent a lifetime earning. Share this video with someone you know who's approaching retirement or already collecting benefits, because this information is too important to keep to yourself. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next update, because when the SSA moves, we'll be right here to break it all down for you in plain English every single time.